And we are live. Good morning and welcome to another good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are.
Yeah, good
Welcome to
morning.
another exciting edition of Meet Your New Neighbors, sponsored by Brain Drain Unlimited Foundation. Today is October 13th, and we have an exciting guest with us today. We have Irina Schell. And Irina is an English as a second language instructor and specialist living in Alabama here in the United States. So, thanks to Tamara's preparation and booking Irina on the show, we will talk a little bit today about English as a second language and about her journey to the United States. And with that, as usual, I will let Tamara introduce herself, and then we'll have Irina introduce yourself as well. So, Tamara.
Yes, hello everyone. It's great to be with you today. My name is Tamara. Before joining the team, I worked as a lawyer for 16 years and I had to leave Russia. And now I'm living here in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. In February 2025, I joined to Brain Drain team, and my role is Director of Compliance. And I'm very happy to use my professional experience and learn more about the American business environment. Thank you.
And I might add that Tamara is doing an excellent job. She's wearing many, many hats in our organization. She's helping keep us on point from the other time zone over there in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Thank you, Tamara.
Thank you.
Irina, thank you
Mm.
for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, of course. As you said before, I'm an English tutor here in the United States, and I've been teaching immigrants since I arrived here. It happened in 2017, and I specialize in teaching in groups. I do have individuals though, but my prime interest is teaching in a group format. I'm a former Muscovite, was born and brought up there, and came here uh, because I happened to meet my future husband.
Well, that's a great reason.
Mhm.
Nice. Nice. You answered that question. And so before coming to the United States, what were you doing?
I was teaching English. I was teaching in groups and individually in a mm, company. I had some corporate experience, and I changed my specialization pretty drastically. I used to be a recruiter, but in 2012 I became an English teacher, and since then I've been teaching both privately and in a company.
That's great. So when
Mhm.
you moved, before you moved to the United States, you had visited here before?
Yeah, I visited. I don't remember, 2 or 3 times, I guess. My first visit was to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Then I came through New York. Yeah, I visited twice actually.
Nice. So when you arrived, what did you find? What was the culture shock like?
Yeah, so everything is big in America.
Yep. That's what they
That's,
all say. Yep.
yeah, that's my first impression. And that actually what kind of uh, I liked a lot because Russia is a big country too. So it's kind of I found it similar and yeah, calming, and also people were incredibly friendly. That I loved a lot, and also there was nowhere to go on food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep. We
yeah,
hear that. We hear those.
yeah,
We hear those things quite often from
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah, and a little of my background, I lived as an expat in Europe for 5 years. And so I saw the other. And so I had a bit of reverse culture shock when I returned to the United States. I got to experience it as a foreigner. And I remarked the exact same thing. I remember coming back to the States after being abroad, and I ordered a salad. And they brought the salad to my table, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's enough food for 3 people.
Yeah, and portions,
Yeah.
gigantic, absolutely.
Yeah. The trucks are big, the people are big, the buildings are big, the spaces are big. But we also hear that too about the friendliness. That's another big cultural difference of what was it like the first time someone asked you, how are you?
Oh, well, at first, to be honest with you, I tried not to look people in the eyes,
Yeah.
because I was convinced that it was rude to do. So it's a Moscow culture, you
Yep.
don't, and probably I missed a lot of how are yous. At first, I just couldn't believe that a total stranger would ask me this question, like, why, why would I, But then I learned to answer.
Yeah. I used to joke with my German friends when I lived in Europe, because when you ask a German, how are you, you'll get their life story and their biography.
The same with Russians.
Yeah.
There is no small talk. No
Exactly.
small talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So we were just talking prior to in the green room before we came on the air, and I mentioned that as an American, Alabama is a state that I know a bit about, but I've never visited. And I'm an American. And so it's famous, I know, for its rocketry. It's famous for its universities. It's got kind of that Southern culture. We were joking a little bit about everyone in Alabama talks with an accent.
Oh, yes.
They talk a little bit more slow.
Yeah. But they swallow all word endings.
So how did that work out for you? So first of all, how did you ended up in Alabama because of your husband or your partner?
Yeah, because of my husband. Actually we've settled only recently. We came here in 2022. Before that, we were traveling. It's all connected to my to my husband's job. And at first, we moved from here. We lived here for only 6 months. Then we moved to New Orleans, then to Miami, then to Tampa, then to North Carolina, then to Mobile, Alabama. And only after that, I kind of made a full circle. So my immigration was soft. I started from these familiar to me big cities, and then I moved to a little town deep in the state, in the southern state.
Except as a Muscovite, you learned very quickly what tropical humidity is like.
It's tough. It's tough, yeah.
I've spent some time in Florida and in the Carolinas, and that's
very hot.
the weather down there is 30 degrees Celsius and 90 some percent humidity.
Yeah.
And a thunderstorm every afternoon.
Yeah. And tornadoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving back to your profession a little bit and your life story, I read here in the show notes that you started your career in genetics.
Yeah. It was my first choice, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's because of my family. My parents, my mom came from Ukraine. My father came from Bashkiria. So when they met each other in Moscow, but both my mom and my dad and my brother, they went through this agricultural university. So it was a logical choice for me, and but I graduated in 1991, and that's probably the phrase. It's like self-explanatory because it was the 90s in Russia when the old system was destroyed, but the new one wasn't built yet. So lots of specialists, fresh graduates lost their jobs, or they were just not needed at all. What happened to me, actually. So I started working as a secretary, then even as a bookkeeper and as an HR specialist. So my road towards teaching had a lot of steps and turns. And genetics was only one of them.
So is that something in the back of your pocket you ever think about going back to?
No.
No, you're in the English life now. Yeah.
Yeah. It gave me a lot, actually, because I studied in a very diverse group of students. They were not only Muscovites. I would say I was the only Muscovite in the group. Yeah. Everybody else came from the country. Yeah, so it gave me, this understanding of people who come from little places. Probably just I became more flexible. I don't know, more appreciative.
Yep, I know exactly what you mean. I grew up in a town of 1,200 people.
Oh.
And I've lived in the third biggest city in the United States. I lived in Chicago for a decade.
Oh, yeah.
So,
it is a big city. Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting. And then, so you mentioned studying with a diverse group of people. You actually studied at Cambridge for a little bit with the Cambridge program?
I got my CELTA certificate from them. It was what is it? My entry into the profession. I needed to get the certificate to be able to teach English. Yeah. So no, it was not. I didn't take it in Cambridge. It was a course which I took in Moscow. Back then, it was still possible.
So moving into your English a little bit, I always find it interesting. We in America grow up speaking English, and it wasn't until my first trip to England when I was 17. I was 17 years old, and I forget what I was saying, and a proper English gentleman said to me, "Excuse me, sir, but you don't speak English, you speak American."
Yeah.
So you were educated according to Oxford English.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I know two languages, not one, and I'm still, sometimes confused, get confused between them. Yeah, my school was pretty strong in English. It had this advanced program of English. Yeah, and it was all English, lift, what is it? Fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The boot.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. Yeah.
So for your non-English speakers, what we're talking about is there are several trick words that in British English or Oxford English, they mean something completely different. And we have different words in America for.
Yeah. For example, if I say flat, a flat, meaning an apartment, usually Americans get confused because they think of like adjective flat,
Yep. A flat, or sometimes an American would even think of a flat as a shoe, a type of shoe.
Yeah. Something. So it's just very confusing for them. And shuttered, When I use this meaning I am tired, my husband gets scared, like, oh, what happened? Because
Yeah,
shattered has a negative connotation to it in American.
exactly, exactly. I've always been fascinated by languages and the intricacies, and
Yeah,
uh,
it is
I'm
interesting.
I'm only about 8 hours into your language, your mother tongue, uh,
Wow, it's
but
impressive.
I'm just starting to be able to read some Cyrillic, which
Oh,
is
wow.
good.
Mhm.
I figured if I'm working with a team, when in Rome, right?
Mhm.
So your English teaching specificity is specifically around immigrants.
Yes, yes. It wasn't like that in the beginning. I taught Muscovites. I just started teaching online, but the students were the same. Yeah. But after a while, I understood that I'm not there anymore. My interests, they changed. So, and I understand immigrants much more than uh, the people from the country I left behind. I mean,
Yeah.
in terms of English, in terms of learning the language. So I started looking for immigrants, and it happened probably 2021, 2022, somewhere there.
How do you find the teaching difference when
Mm.
it's targeted towards immigration versus, oh, for example, a teaching towards travel or business?
Well, immigrants, they're very specific. It is a specific group of students. Well, first of all, they're much more interested in learning how to speak. Not they're not interested as much in grammar, yeah? And also they are very interested in specific language features. For example, small talk. How to do small talk, which is non-existent in Russia, or pronunciation. It's tough, yeah, or connected speech.
Hmm.
They're very interested. Intonation, which is quite different. That's why Russians sometimes sound harsh or monotonous, at least when they speak, because our language is different
Hmm.
intonation wise. Yeah, so that is what distinguishes immigrants as people who live there from others.
I find that, yeah, that you uh, you can only get so far learning in the books. What
Yeah.
is at a certain point you have to learn the colloquial, the
Idioms,
yeah,
yes.
the idioms, the
Phrasal,
day to
yeah.
day,
Idioms, phrasal verbs, yes,
because
yes.
it sound well. I will tell people from abroad that it's the same in any language, but in English, in American English, for example, we eat a lot of the words.
Oh, yes.
So
We
instead
do.
of I am going to go to the store,
Mm,
I'm going to go to the store.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and people are.
Confused. Yeah.
So
Or
once
for,
you hear that, and then
yeah.
they go, well, that's not what I learned in the books.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Or for example, usually you don't hear tell them, you hear tell them.
Tell them.
you
Yeah.
know, or
Yeah.
tell her. And it's very confusing for Russian ear, we pronounce every letter.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I try to teach my students, this is highly important.
Now, when you speak, focusing in on your people that have Russian as the native tongue,
Mm.
is English generally their second language, or have they already learned a second language and English is their third?
Uh, Well, sometimes there are students who learned German as their first foreign language at school. But usually, yeah, English is their first foreign language. It's just, it can be different. So, but now, I look at my students, it's their first foreign language.
Hey, we are the same in the United States,
Mm.
and it's somewhat cultural, but it's a lot due to geography.
Yeah,
We just don't learn languages for the most part. There's Spanish in the United States. So
yeah.
if someone learns another language, it may be 1 year of Spanish in
Mm.
school.
Yeah, it's tough to teach my husband Russian.
So to you foreigners, be patient with us Americans, because it's not that we dislike other languages. It's that we're intimidated because it's not stressed unless somebody
Mm.
pursues learning a foreign language. It's not something
Hmm.
we're exposed to on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I
Unless you live
understand
right
that.
at the border like I do, 1 hour from Mexico, then it's a different issue.
Mm.
I hear Spanish every day, but so your
Not
teaching
so sure
style,
I would agree with that.
what did you say?
I
Hi.
said, I'm not so sure I would agree with that. By the
From what
way,
I,
Irina, hello, I'm Manis.
Well,
Sorry I was a little bit late. They decided to have a parade here in the city for
hey,
Columbus Day.
mm.
And just to let you know, I've been to Alabama. In fact, Fort McClellan, Alabama,
Mm.
was
Mm-hmm.
my first training stop when I
Mm-hmm.
was a lifetime ago. But yes, my wife often speaks Russian, Ukrainian. The children seem to understand it, and I choose the path of ignorance because I know it's nothing good for me. So, but yes.
Well, in your defense, it's a very, very difficult language.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
All right, then I'll use that excuse later on.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right. I do see some questions coming from our audience here. And the one question is interesting. In your opinion, how does English proficiency change the lives of immigrants in the USA?
Well, it changes everything. Uh, it's a door to be heard, to be recognized as a professional, as a person. Oh, it's just the way to understand what is going on around you, and um, it's a way to understand the context of life, of a new life here.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Mm.
All right.
so you like,
Constantine's not here. It's always insistent that people learn English. So,
Yeah, it's absolutely essential, of course. Yeah, lots of people come here with some ideas, about American life, and these ideas can be right, they can be wrong, and the only way to prove yourself right or wrong is to learn the language and to understand, people around you.
the expat trap is to get in with the expat group with everyone who speaks your language because you're all homesick.
Yeah.
I met people in Switzerland that lived in Switzerland for 15 or 20 years. And after 6 months, I spoke more French than they did because they hung out
Yeah.
with all their people all day. They never learned.
Yeah, it happens. It happens sometimes. I have these students who lived here for like 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. It happens. At first, I remember being surprised, like, oh, wow. But then I learned that it's like a person, an immigrant, is in a huge stress, and this stress lasts usually
Mhm.
for several years. It's not a matter of 1 month, it's a matter of years. So people, they choose and find these survival strategies, and for some people a strategy is to block yourself, to wall yourself off the life which is outside. It's too stressful for them to learn the language. They're convinced they won't understand everything, probably because of their school or whatever, this low, I don't know, they don't believe that they can do
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Yep. I've definitely seen it and I've experienced it. And I've heard stories from Constantine and others about that experience. It's almost like you're going through a death or a loss and you're trying to become reborn again.
Yeah. We are growing a second personality here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
English
A
speaking.
second. So back to your teaching strategy, you mentioned you teach mainly in groups. Can you tell us a little bit about your teaching strategy and why the group setting? What are the advantages of a group setting?
Yeah, first of all, it's considerably less stressful for students to be in a group because they find themselves in company of the people who have the same level of English. So it's not that stressful. And also in a group, people usually help each other, or I ask them to help each other. And they just forget about fear, of opening the mouth and speaking English. And of course, it's a perfect training ground of social interactions, which is what the language is about.
Absolutely.
And it's easier to stay motivated in a group, and it's less, it's less intimidating because when you have one-to-one lesson, the teacher's attention is focused on you.
Yes.
And it might be kind of, unsettling.
The pressure is on. And your students are coming from many different language backgrounds or mainly?
No, they're all Russian speaking or Ukrainian speaking people, but they live in different countries, not only America, mostly America, but not only.
So how are the complexities around getting people together geographically, or are there any specificities around how you have to cater the training to different locations?
It's just time difference, which is pretty confusing, but I try to keep it on calendar, not to get confused with that. Because Europe is what, 7 hours ahead of us?
Yeah.
And they change time earlier. That is the most confusing period. Yeah, but other than that, they bring their own, I don't know, cultural colors into the group. It's very interesting when people exchange their immigrants' experiences and life experiences, and people find similarities.
So I always tell people wherever you go, you have to learn about 5 things. Hello, goodbye. Thank you.
How are you?
How do you say this? And I would like, what are some of the other topics you teach?
Oh, we usually I try to give them this survival, what is it, first kit,
First aid
Yes.
kit, yeah.
Yeah. So how, but of course it's for lower levels, it works for lower level. How to go to, say, Publix and to a store and ask a shop assistant where salt is, or how to order takeout, or how to make a doctor's appointment, these kinds of things. Yeah, so that they felt more comfortable, and how to do small talk. It's actually a big topic, but anyway, we learn it. How to go to a store and try some clothes on, these kinds of things.
Yeah, it's so important
Yeah.
not to only learn the mechanics of a language, but to learn the context.
Yes.
Uh,
Well, context is difficult. I am still learning it myself.
what I find when I learn language is uh, I try to get to the point where I have certain catchphrases that are just automatically in my
Mm.
mind. Like, I would like this, or how do you say, like some of those I just mentioned. Um,
Yes, yes, it's a good point. For example, in English, I think "I'm good" is one of
mhm.
those phrases which you hear everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm good. I'm fine.
I'm good, I'm fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yep. And that's something we find fascinating, because something that is just so ingrained in us as a natural, just automatic response is something that has to be learned
Yeah,
by
yes.
others, that you have to actually take classes in it.
And also, for example, how to say that you disagree,
Yes.
because in Russian, Russians can sound very abrupt, like no. That's
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I disagree, and it's completely okay to say in Russian, but in in English, it's yeah, it doesn't work like that. So I teach them to say, "Well, I'm not sure," instead
Yes.
of "no." Yeah, or yeah, all
The
this
art of
functional language. Yeah.
the art of dancing around the point.
Mhm. Never say anything very straightforwardly. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Those are some interesting.
Mhm.
So, do you give the students any tips? Here was my tip is I learned French by coming home after work and watching game shows on TV.
Mhm.
Because when you're watching a game show on TV, they're showing you many different types of objects, and they're always telling what the name of the object is. They're telling numbers all the time, so you
Mhm.
learn your numbers. So do you
Mhm.
have any special tips like that you tell your immigrants?
It depends on the level. For low levels, sometimes I tell them to watch a forecast, for example, on TV, because they keep repeating the same words.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier for them to hear them and to catch them. Just watching, for example, it's a very popular idea to watch movies in English, or to go to the church and learn there, or to do some volunteer work. Yes, it does work, but if the level is higher, because for lower levels it doesn't work. They don't hear. Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't hear what we don't understand. So first they need to start from something small, like a short podcast, a forecast, something like that. Or I record my interactions with somebody in a restaurant, or with my neighbor, or with my husband, and we
Yeah.
listen to it and we just decode.
That is a really great tip and a great idea for
Mm.
practicing. And it wouldn't put any pressure on the person because it's a friend or a loved one.
Hmm. Yeah,
You just say, "Look, I'm going to put the phone in front of us and we're going to talk for about 10 minutes,
yeah,
just for practice.
yeah, yeah.
No one speaks Russian until the 10-minute timer is up."
Yeah, it actually works. It actually works. Yeah, and people are so friendly here. They agree to be recorded and they act. That's nice.
So, being someone who's a highly skilled immigrant that came to the country and knowing Brain Drain's mission,
Mhm.
what advice would you have to highly skilled people coming to the United States or looking to move to the United States?
Yeah, for talented people, I mean, who come on the premises of the this type of visas you work with, yeah, your company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, first of all, learn the language. It's like it's a gateway to everything, to professional recognition, to academic world, to everything. And also, I would advise polishing your resume and practicing your elevator pitch and
Mm-hmm.
self-presentation, you know. And also it's very important to give yourself time, and these changes, they don't happen overnight, so be patient, you know.
Yes, because in an interview setting, a lot of
Oh,
these
mhm.
a lot of these what we call soft skills are very important. A
Yeah,
lot of
interviews are completely different here and in Russia. It's like day and night. It's just so different. And yeah, I have some individuals who are getting ready for interviews because I'm using my previous experience. I used to be a recruiter and I worked for 7 years in a big recruitment company. So, and it's psychologically and language wise, it's completely different. They need to master it. And this is a very great piece of advice. Yeah.
yes, and you've seen the recruitment process as a recruiter in Russia, right?
All the
Uh,
time.
yeah, and so
Mhm.
yeah, it's quite different in the United States. Well, it's difficult for a native speaker to be
Mhm.
ready to be prepared for an interview.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I can't imagine interviewing not in my native tongue.
Yeah.
I was lucky in my position when I did work abroad that I worked for a company that spoke English. So,
Mhm.
uh, so props, congratulations to anyone who has successfully done an interview outside of your native tongue.
Yeah, yeah. I have a student, a couple of them actually, who have successfully gone through interviews in English. I'm proud of them. And one of them, she said, "Oh, it's just that I had 7 interviews in English. I cannot believe it
Yeah,
myself." Yeah.
absolutely. So you've been teaching English for quite some time.
Mm.
Do you continue to plan to
Yeah.
to teach students?
Yeah, I would like to. I have, of course, some plans, some ideas. I would like to scale up a little bit and probably to, I don't know, to develop I don't know, some course, which I could just, hmm, I don't know, just
Nice.
this first aid kit, you know, for
Well,
students. Yeah.
for everybody listening, do you have a website or do you have are
Yes.
you on social media so our listeners could find you?
Yeah. Yeah. I
What's
do.
your website?
I'm very no. My website is gonna be ready like in a week. Probably it's just it coincided that
Yeah.
it got ready last week, and I'm now polishing it. You know, and I'm active on Facebook. I'm active on Telegram, and I usually it's of course through it works through recommendations now, but sometimes people come to me through Facebook as well.
Absolutely. And I found you on LinkedIn. That's where I
And
found your pic.
LinkedIn, yeah,
That's
it's
where I
not
found your
very
picture.
active, yeah, but yet, yeah, I do have.
But you had a nice bio picture there.
Oh, thank you,
So I stole your bio picture.
thank you.
Yeah, so for anybody listening, if you'd like to get a hold of Irina, if you're interested in taking some English lessons or getting in touch, look her up on social media and look out for her website soon. I know that we're always sharing resources, and one of the resources I'm always looking out for are nice ESL resources, whether it's websites or learning things or even some comedy around what it's like to learn English. We've shared a couple comedians that have gone.
Or Russian, yeah. Yeah.
How are we looking on comments? Do we have any other questions or comments from the audience for Irina?
I think I do see one here. It says that you mentioned that in groups, students practice understanding accents and speech patterns. How important is this for life and work in multicultural America?
Well, without understanding accents, it's pretty impossible, to to understand what is going on around you. So that's what I spent quite a lot of time on during my lessons. When we listen to special websites to just naturally flowing English speech, and we listen to this. We focus on these accents, on the way people pronounce something. Like I already gave this example, tell them, I don't know, water, not water, in this British way, and so on and so forth. Or, for example, here in Alabama, but it's important for people who live in the South. I have several students from here. For example, you won't hear anything like oil, like oh,
Yeah, yeah.
or fly, not fly, it's fly. I said fly. The people need to be prepared.
Y'all.
Y'all, yeah, y'all. Yeah. Pretty
You
tough.
all.
Yeah. Yeah.
How y'all doing? Yeah. So what's the most difficult American accent for you, for your ear?
Southern.
Yeah. And that's where you live.
Yeah, yeah. I absolutely cannot mimic it. It's much easier for me to understand them, but no, it's impossible to say
Now
anything.
you've experienced two Southern dialects if you lived in New Orleans too, or
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Yeah. Pretty different, by the way. Yeah, very, very,
Yeah.
very difficult. Yeah.
Because for those outside listeners, the New Orleans, the Louisiana area of the United States is one of those few areas that still has influence from Creole French.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of times in the famous Cajun is laissez-les bon temps rouler. Let the
Yeah.
roll.
Yeah, and it's famous for its jazz bands and blues bands. And I remember being in a bar and listening to the group leader. That's like, what is he talking about? Is it even English?
So we ask a lot of our guests, when you get homesick, or what do you miss? How do you keep in touch with your homeland?
Oh, it's
Do you make borscht?
yes. By the way, borscht is pretty popular. It proved to be pretty popular within Americans, surprisingly. Yeah, I make borscht. I love buckwheat, and I cook buckwheat. Some foods, and I call my friends, of course. Yeah, I keep in touch with my family. I have a brother there in Moscow. Yeah, that's what I do. Now I cannot actually fly there, but probably I will be able to do that somewhere in the future.
I don't imagine it's easy to find any Russian stores or anything like that in Alabama.
Yeah, it's more difficult than in Florida, that's for sure. But there is a Russian store in Birmingham and somewhere on the Gulf. Yeah. Little ones, but yeah, they exist.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Manus, do you have anything else to add to our conversation? You've been kind of quiet over there.
Well, I was, as I said, I was running around looking. It's a mess here in Philadelphia with the parade. They had a parade, Indigenous Peoples Parade or Columbus Parade, whatever I want to call it. But yeah, just the idea of learning English at Oxford and then going to New Orleans in Alabama, that had to be truly almost traumatic, or yeah, yeah, yeah. So, how long did it take you to adapt?
Well, I'm still adapting, I guess.
Okay.
It's getting easier, but it's a process. It doesn't have an end date to it. It's not
Yeah.
only about the language and the very specific accent, but it's also about culture, about the cultural context of our lives, which is sometimes challenging, and difficult to understand.
Yeah. Okay. I just keep thinking of that scene in the movie The Waterboy with Adam Sandler, that one character who just says something unintelligible, and it's based in Louisiana, I think, and says something unintelligible, but everybody seems to know what he says, and they just,
Hey,
Yeah,
as I was saying, even Americans have a hard. I grew up in South Dakota, and the first time I was in New Orleans, I had trouble understanding them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a matter of tuning yourself in, training your ear. That's what we do actually during my lessons with all students, because it doesn't even matter where, in what state they live, because every state have their own specific ways of pronunciation. Like in Boston, for example, people speak very quickly and can be just difficult to grasp. Yeah, in New York too, they like, yeah, so the South is famous for its accents.
Well, and that's one of the interesting things, like you said a little bit earlier. I've
Mhm.
found the same thing, that the ear has to be trained.
Yeah.
You have to be able to, once you're actually able to be able to pick out the words and to discern the individual words, it's only then when you can learn. So,
Yeah. Lots of people think that they need to learn grammar and that is a clue to understanding, but it is not.
Oh,
It's pronunciation, probably vocab, of course, yeah, and intonation. That is what is essential.
yes, I mean,
I
learning,
don't know if you would agree with me, but I would tell anybody who's a prospective student, it's okay if you don't understand them, because we here in America don't understand them either. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it's not, just as you said, there's a whole uh, dynamic. Many times, my wife, who's a native Ukrainian and Russian speaker, would often give me or ask me the proper grammar, how to put a sentence together and everything like that. I have no clue.
Yeah,
I
me too.
really don't know, and and I know initially she would be shocked about that. It's just, whatever I say just comes naturally or whatever, and maybe you understand it, maybe you don't. But
Yeah.
Yeah, we study English in school, and then we promptly forget about. Yeah, same with me, Manus. I couldn't tell you what, the verb tenses are, or past
Mm.
participle, adverb.
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
rules of the road are important, sure,
Mm-hmm.
but
But
sometimes
then,
you need to drive.
Yeah,
just need to
yeah,
go.
absolutely. Yeah, my husband panics when I ask him any question, like how to say what is this in English, what is this? Oh, he panics and he just, okay, I'm not a teacher. Oh, yes, it's difficult for him. And when I say, oh, it's an adverb, what is an adverb?
One
Yeah.
of the things that I wanted to ask, or basically get an understanding, you came from Moscow and then you went to Oxford, which I assume is in London, uh, which both those cities, as far as public transportation,
Mm.
you may have some competition here in the United States with New York and Washington and Philadelphia. Boston has a pretty good one, but Alabama it's non-existent.
Non-existent.
And how did you get your driver's license?
Did
Yeah.
you have to learn
Yeah.
how to drive a big pickup truck?
No, just a little. Yes, but I had to learn how to drive, of course. Yeah, I know that
Okay.
actually among my students there are those who refuse to learn to drive because it's too much stress on them. But here it's just impossible to get around. It's either you drive or you sit home. So just so yeah, now I drive, and yeah, it took some time for me to get used to this very American idea that nothing is reachable on foot. You need to drive. Yeah, it's very different from Moscow. I mean, it's a gigantic city, but everything which I needed was within a walking distance.
Oh yeah. No, I've been to Moscow.
Or
and
public
they-
transport, just a short
Yeah.
ride by metro.
Yeah. I thought the Moscow public transportation, and this was back in 2007. I understand they may have some issues
Oh,
now.
it's excellent. Excellent.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and whatnot. Yeah, but I know that I guess somebody coming from a different land, and I had that experience with my wife or whatever. Just it's very difficult to navigate until you get a driver's license, and it's not so easy. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, Manus, with the exception of maybe 4 or 5 cities in the United States, even LA, it's almost, you can take a bus, but it's almost impossible to get around without a car.
Yeah. That's,
I'll tell a funny story. I was home in South Dakota for a week visiting my parents, and I decided I was going to walk to the convenience store. And the convenience store in our small town is literally 200 meters away. It's 2 blocks away. And my dad asked me if I wanted to use the car. I can sure give you a ride down to the store if you want. That's just the culture.
Yeah.
We're just used to getting in the car and going someplace.
Yeah, that's what I did when I arrived. At first, we had Walmart just like you said, probably 200 meters away, and I walked there, and every other car stopped because they wanted to give me a ride.
Thought you had a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. People were very friendly, but I kind of got tired of it. Just leave me alone. Let me walk. Yeah, it was funny.
Well, in a lot of places, the infrastructure is just not walkable. I had a similar situation on a consulting job in Wisconsin. And on that consulting job, I didn't have a car because I took the train. And we had to walk to a Walmart type of deal. Same situation. It was just right across the road. Unfortunately, to cross the road, there was no stoplight. There was about 8 lanes of traffic.
Yeah.
So it was like playing a video game.
It was like that in North Carolina. I had never ever been to the bar, which was just across the road, because I could not cross this road.
Why did the Muscovite cross the road?
They, they yes.
Well, we are coming up on the end of the hour already. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes.
Yep.
Are there any other comments in the feed?
Yeah. What is the main? Yeah, this is a new one. What is the main advice you would give to talented people from other countries who are just planning to move to the USA?
I guess we kind of discussed it, yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
happy to repeat it, that the first thing, of course, being a teacher, it would be not logical not to advise learn English. So learning English is essential, of course. It is a way to start your new life in a new country, and it's a way to understand people around and to be able to find, not only to understand people around, but to be able to find your own voice in a new country, and also for people who immigrate just for work, for example, it is essential to polish their interview skills and to learn, first of all, to learn about this process, which is quite different in America, and to learn how to behave, how to present yourself, which is very different from Russian culture, and to master your self-presentation, be able to highlight your own achievements. Don't be shy doing it, and probably polish your elevator pitch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I have one last question for you.
Mhm.
If you had to leave the United States tomorrow, what's the one meal that you would miss?
Oh, that's
Or maybe you don't miss any of the American food.
no. I love it. Actually, I love everything here. I love American food. It's easier for me to say what I won't miss. Like all these fries. I
Yeah.
mean, just no. But I love seafood very much. I love oysters. That's what
Yeah.
I miss. Oysters. Yeah. From Texas, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
They're huge. I love them. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Right.
ladies and gentlemen, we are at the top of the hour. So to remind you, just to close the show, if you did enjoy our discussion today, there are many ways you can support us. We're on all the social media networks, not just YouTube. We post a lot of fun things over on Instagram. We also have a newsletter. You can find that on our website, braindrain.work/news. We promise we'll never spam you. We put out a nice summary of immigration news and interesting topics every month, and we're looking to expand that. And lastly, Manus would kill me if I didn't mention that we can use your support. So if you found this discussion inspiring, your support helps us fund things like English lessons for our clients who are looking to come to the United States, amongst other things. And Manus, I'll turn it over to you. Anything else to add before we close the show?
I can't really think of anything to add except, yes, every little bit helps. And we need to make a home for a lot of people that will actually make our home better. And it's not just something that we do for them, we put them in a position to do for us. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
and, we
Absolutely.
need to keep that in mind. Yes.
Yep. We're looking for the good people.
Yeah. Immigrants,
Pay our taxes.
immigrants don't come here to, usually, they don't come here to take something from the country. They come here to give something to the country, to add.
Yes.
Yeah, that is very important.
Absolutely. I think on that's a great note to end on.
Mhm.
So join us back here next week, same time, same place, for another edition of Meet the Neighbors next Monday. Follow us, subscribe, donate, and continue to support immigration wherever you live. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this and maybe even learned something new. If you did, don't just vanish into the algorithm. Hit like, subscribe, and follow us on social. It's the easiest way to support our work and make sure you never miss what's next. Want to stay in the loop without relying on big tech's mood swings? Sign up for our monthly newsletter. And if you've got the means, donations of any size keep our programs running strong. As a 501c3, your gift is tax deductible where the law allows. Together, we can turn brain drain into America's next big breakthrough.